Hello and welcome back to the Ben Mark Photography Podcast. Today I'm going to call the OG. She was the first person on my regular content shoots. She's also someone who I've worked with now for like 2 years.
I think just over.
Probably the bane of my life for the last 2 years. No, Sharon is an amazing person. She's really transformed her life and her business, and I thought it'd be amazing to have her on the podcast. So, Sharon, give yourself a little bit of thank you for coming along, and give yourself a little bit of an intro.
Well, first, thanks for having me. I don't really know where to start. So I am still currently full-time employed, but we'll go on to that. I'm sure that is soon to change to be full-time self-employed. So I work as an operating department practitioner which is in an operating theatre. Not many people know what it is, so don't worry if you don't. And I started the business around, actually just after we met. It was kind of like there was things in motion, and I had the idea that I kind of wanted to go online. I'd done my PT qual and wanted to move forward with it, but I didn't really know what direction I wanted to go with it. And that kind of was when we met.
Amazing. So you are in the military.
Yeah.
You fix people.
I try.
Term. You try.
Yeah.
And then obviously you got into the fitness side of things. I remember our first shoot was at Orpington, wasn't it?
Correct, yeah.
It was. So what kind of was pushing you into doing more of the coaching stuff?
So for me, I mean, with the history of doing being in hospitality and then leading on to care work and things like that, I just like helping people, and going into healthcare really showed me how much I love to help people. It sounds corny, but actually it's so true. And I've always had an interest in exercise, nutrition and things like that. And I personally, around 10 years ago, I was overweight, I was in a toxic relationship, I was in a job I hated, and then I kind of tried all these diets and nothing was working. I was yo-yo dieting. I was all over the place. I was so insecure. I hated myself. I used to look in the mirror and cry. Genuinely, that is the truth. I used to hate myself. And when I finally found that kind of sweet spot of balance, and I thought, oh my God, none of these fad diets worked. So when I finally started looking after my nutrition, exercising regularly, drinking enough water, and actually looking after myself properly instead of trying to go for that quick fix, I finally, built my self-confidence. And I thought, oh my goodness, I can help so many other people do this. I want to help people skip all of those things that I had to go through to get to this point, so that they can reach it without having to go through that emotional roller coaster, because it is, and there is a huge emotional attachment to weight. And I think that gets overlooked so much. It's not just about how you look, it's how you feel. But getting to that place is so much harder with, all of these fad diets and juice diets and take this pill and you'll feel amazing. And, I wanted to be the thing that I never had. And that's kind of what led me to think, actually, I want to do that too.
Amazing. So you obviously you've come a fairly long way, plus then I want to dig into it a little bit, because I think it's obviously I know how much you've had to do with all of it, especially with COVID and all of that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. How have you, obviously being a practitioner, you are working many hours, stressful, obviously just don't know what you're going to get thrown at you half the time. I remember when we shot and you were like, actually, I think I'm going to do something here and I don't really know where to start. And I said, look, if it helps, I'll give you a bit of accountability and just someone to lean on. How has it been because you've had to really slow burn grow this, even though you have grown it and you've got it to a really good place. How's it been to work around such a demanding full-time job?
Challenging, to say the least.
At least you say that with a smile.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, because you don't have a choice. But yeah, if your why is good enough, then, you will just put in the hours. You have to.
We're going deep already. Here we go.
No, yeah, it's true though, isn't it? I'd get up before work and I'd start work at 7. I'd get up before work, respond to emails, prep a social, because I wasn't blocking my socials at that point. Then I'd go to work, finish work at 7:30, come home, do work, try and catch up on everything and, continue to do things that I would have I didn't have like time to do during the day. Like my weekends were rammed. I didn't have a day off for over a year. And I don't advise that for anyone, but sometimes you feel like, because you're just so passionate about it, you just want to keep going, you want to keep helping, you want to keep building, you just keep going. So yeah, it was very challenging. And as you know, like through COVID, that was like a whole different level. It was very demanding, very mentally exhausting. But actually it was almost like coming back and doing my stuff with Simply Fit. It was like a relief, like it was nice. It was like a bit of positivity in all of this like negativity that was going on. Like I'd come back and the girls would check in and they'd be happy and be getting amazing results and they'd be loving it. And that was like the only thing that kind of gave me a bit of something through that. So yeah, it's demanding and it's challenging, but if you want it enough, you can make it work.
Out of interest, what was your reason why?
Like just to help, like we've discussed already. Like if you don't want, like your why has to be like so strong. And like I've said, I want to be the person that I never had for so many other women. And to be that person, I have to be present. I have to turn up. I have to be consistent. I have to increase my reach and work through your socials. And that was actually a big mistake that I made at the beginning, thinking, oh, I don't have a big following, I'm never going to make any money. Don't fall down that rabbit hole. It's not a thing. But yeah, it's just about helping as many people as you can. And yeah, you just have to keep going. So if well, actually, if I post today and this reaches and helps one person and they reach out to me, even if they don't sign up and they ask for like some basic advice, I've helped one person. So that's enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so just while we do what we do, because we know when we help people, it kind of leads on to other stuff. So what was the big turning point for you? Because like obviously I know that from the start up, like where you've been pushing and there was, I'm going to do this challenge or I'm going to have this package, I'm going to have this. And I said, no, just keep it simple. Just do what you do with it. What was the big moment for you where you realised, hang on, this wasn't just going to be a side thing?
So I don't think I ever had the intention of it just being a side thing, but I had
So I remember different.
Oh no, actually you're actually, I'm lying, you're telling the truth, because I thought I didn't think it was just going to be a side thing, but I didn't believe in myself at how quickly that could become a full-time reality. And that is definitely something, because I remember, I set a target and you were like, no way, we're like going to triple that target and that's going to be your target for year one. And I literally remember thinking, this guy's crazy. Like I will never, ever, ever hit that. And I'll never, like, I literally remember sitting there thinking, I laughed and I wrote it down. And I was like, fine, we'll go with your numbers. Cause like you supposedly are the guy that, oh, the phone's ringing, that's awkward. Like, you're supposedly the guy that knows everything, so fine, I'll go with you, like whatever. But I didn't believe it. I thought there's absolutely no chance on this earth that is going to happen. I not only met it, I like over doubled it in my first year. So like, but I wouldn't have been able to do that. And I think it was actually at that point, at the end of maybe the first year, where I was like, and I reflected back and I thought, wow, like me 1 year ago, I didn't even think that I would be able to make the minimum. And I've exceeded a goal that I never thought I would actually, I didn't even think I'd meet that goal, never mind exceed it. And I think that's when I realized, I might actually be able to help more people here. I might actually be able to build something bigger.
So I just want to put a bit of clarity out there, because obviously I know I work alongside a lot of business coaches, and obviously I was helping Sharon with a bit of accountability. It was a very initial early stages of her running a business, and she had no money to really chuck it kind of getting big business coaches in or anything like that. It was just interesting for me. I almost said it was almost a challenge for me. I almost looked at it as, okay, I can just help do a little bit here and learn a little bit about what it all takes and what it all means. And that's why I found it quite fascinating that when you were starting to get these results, I was like, wow, like I generally don't have, I have no qualifications in personal training whatsoever. I literally know what I know about it, and that's that. I think the thing that really It was just the accountability side of it. I think, you know, if someone can lean on me and I can help them with their early stages of things, I thought that's quite cool. You know, and I know I'm someone who likes to push people and I want to learn a little bit more. And obviously, you know, I put you straight in touch with Adam as soon as I said, like you said, like I'm earning good money. I was like, right, now's the time to really invest into a proper coach, like someone who's really got some business knowledge and also can advance your knowledge in every area that you're learning in. When you look back to that person that you were when we were just initially talking and setting those kind of challenges, is it scary to think that you just didn't believe in yourself that much?
Yeah, 100%. And I
I mean, I won't say you're big-headed now, but like you've definitely got a bit more confidence you had before.
No, but and you still, well, I mean, we spoke recently on the phone and I was like, I still think I'm like having a bit of issues. And you're like, no, you're fine, get over it, keep going. But no, like genuinely, when I had no confidence in myself whatsoever about what I could achieve at all, like none. And I definitely wouldn't have got to the place that I have now without that initial, like, you know, with being with you, with that accountability, with someone saying, no, you're going to reach for this goal. Like, no, you're going to do this week. And just someone setting some goals and knowing that at the end of the week, I was going to have to check in with you. And I was like, this guy's honest. Like, he will be honest with me and tell me. So if I haven't done something, like, it was just that kind of like, not fear, but like, you know, you don't want to be told off. So I was like, right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it well. Because I want to be like, I want to do this. And I like just instead of thinking about, and actually that's when I kind of forgot about that goal that we'd set initially. It was lingering in the back, but I thought, actually, I'm not going to think about that target. I'm going to remember it, but I'm just going to work week to week to week. Like each day I'm just going to hit those targets. Each week I'm going to hit those goals that you set for me. And then, yeah, just keep moving forward and trudging on. And yeah, well, it worked.
So you obviously you're taking the plunge to leave everything that you've done, worked so very hard for. I completely understand that you've worked incredibly hard for it. What's the emotions behind it?
Behind leaving the military?
And just how you're feeling about the whole thing. Like obviously I know you've dedicated a lot of... I know you've dedicated a lot and obviously I know you've committed into it. You haven't actually it hasn't actually happened just yet.
Yeah.
But obviously you've put everything in motion.
Talk
to me about what's been going through your head.
Well,
other than shit, what have I just done?
So yeah, it is a roller coaster because even though like I've got so much more confidence than that person like just over 2 years ago, you still have self-doubt. You still have that kind of like imposter syndrome where you're like, oh my God, this is it. This is where I'm going to get figured out. Like, this is where everybody realizes I have no idea what I'm doing and I'm just going to completely flop and fail. And I think, but then some days I wake up and I'm like, no, I've got this. Like, I've definitely got this. And like the girls do their check-ins and you feel fired up and I'm like, no, I'm ready. Like, this is going to be amazing. This is going to be awesome. Like, imagine doing this every day as my actual job. Like, I actually get money to do something that I love so much. Like so many people go through life just being miserable, working in jobs they hate, going home to relationships they're miserable in. And like everything about it is just miserable. And I'm like, well, actually, I was miserable, but I made the decisions to like leave that toxic relationship, find a job that I love, pursue a passion that I want to like do full time. And, you know, you can do those things. And people say, oh, no, it's not that easy. You can't just do that because I've got this reason and that reason. You'll always find a reason not to do it. Always. But you just have to go for it anyway.
I think you've had enough reasons why not to do it.
Yeah.
You know, there's been a lot of stressful things and it's like there's been a lot, but the fact that you've just kept going on to it and kept pushing and then kept it at a good level, and even if you've had times to struggle, you've still kind of persisted in just making sure that you just do, I wouldn't say the minimum, but make sure that what you needed to do got done.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. Because my capacity is limited, obviously, because, yes, I'm clinical, but being military, like they give you other jobs around that.
Clinical meaning I work in a clinic, not
yeah.
like clinical as in like I'm like an assassin with this. Like there's not,
No.
not if your check is not immaculate, I'm coming for you.
No, I mean like in an operating theatre. So
Yeah.
if I'm not in the operating theatre, like the army give you other jobs that you have to get done, and you know, there's a big workload around it.
And it's not just you're not just talking about going in and cleaning the floors. You're talking about operating on people, like saving lives and
trying
getting them
to
feeling. Yeah. And
touch
that's
wood.
what I mean. It's, you know, and there's a lot of pressure on that. It's not, you know,
Yeah,
it's
it's
only when you come away from that and then go back into it and you go, Jesus, like, you know, if you took 3 years out and then went back into it, still having the knowledge that you had, you'd probably still walk in there and go, wow, like, I can't remember, I've got used to this pressure.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. Yeah, there's a lot of like transferable skills actually, and I think that's one thing to bear in mind as well, that you probably have more transferable skills than you realize, even if like, you know, you've never run a business before. Like when I was younger, I used to do like musical theatre and stuff. Like I used to go to auditions all the time, and all the time I was told no, next audition, next audition, next audition. So like I didn't realize that the resilience that taught me would give me the resilience, you know, when you're first starting out and people maybe aren't buying your plans because maybe you're not that good at selling yet, and you know, and you're like, fine, they don't want it, keep going, I'll practice. What went wrong? Why do I think that they maybe didn't like sign up? What could be the rationale behind it? How can I improve my sales technique, you know? And but without kind of like just feeling like you're knocked back. So even just something like a little example as that, if you transfer that into other people, they're guaranteed to have had some kind of life experience that you can apply in terms of whether it's pursuing any passion that you want or building a business.
I'm going to dig a little bit deeper.
Go for it. You might not find much, but you can try.
So you're obviously taking this big leap. There's a lot that you've had to kind of tick off, get done, learn. What are the 3 things that have really got you to this place today, other than the why?
The 3 things, if I could pick 3 things. So first and foremost, it comes from myself, as in like, you know, my drive, my work ethic, and my want to kind of like succeed, whatever success is to you. But like, that's definitely like, because actually without any external factor, like it has to come from yourself, 100%. To the people you meet along the way, the people I've met along the way. So first was like yourself, Adam. There's been
was a tough start, wasn't it?
First is definitely yourself. Like if I hadn't have come to that shoot and we hadn't have met and we hadn't have had that conversation, I'm not saying that I wouldn't be here at all now, but I definitely think it led me in a very good direction at a more accelerated rate than potentially I would have done just by myself, because you don't know what you don't know. So having someone, and like you say, yeah, you're not a PT or whatever, but you don't need to. You've got a business, you've built your own business, and the fundamentals are the same. So having that like accountability and setting those goals and scrutinizing other parts of the business actually were exactly the same. And 3, I think, has to be support. So like support from friends, family, you know, like that support that you have around you, and like especially like my partner now, like you just have that constant support, so that when you are having the moments of doubt, you've got your friends, you've got your partner, you've got whoever saying like, no, you have got this, you can do this. Like they believe in me more than I do, and having that support network around you is just so important. So lean on it, because you will expect them to lean on you if you're a good friend, which I like have no doubt that people are. But do you know what I mean? You expect people to do it to you, so do it back. Lean on them, like tell them your struggles, tell them your worries. They might not understand what you're talking about, but just having that person by your side to be like, you know, you got this, keep going. I think
it's amazing
myself,
how
people support.
It's amazing how you don't realise how valuable that support network is until you really hit it, like you really need it, and then you realise just what you've got around you. And it's interesting, like as the journey changes and people come and go and all of that type of stuff, like I think we're always trying to build some sort of comfort around us, and then if we haven't got it, we go, okay, I'm going to have to really dig deep inwardly here. Because if I wasn't with my partner, if I didn't have the job I had, if I didn't have the family I had, like, you'd have to find it from somewhere. If you were sat at the end of your bed thinking about the one thing that you're terrible at, but you knew you could change it, what would you say that is?
Good question. One thing that I was terrible at, but I knew I could change it, or I am now. Which one? Before or now?
One that you're terrible at now. And
But
you knew
I
if you
know I
called
could
yourself
change it.
out on it and you could change it, what would it be?
I can't think of like a specific skill off the top of my head, but something that I do that I'm terrible at is, or that I don't do enough of, and I know I communicate relatively well, is just videos. Like, I'm awful at it. I'm awful at making videos for my socials, and I know I need to do it. I'm inconsistent. I don't do it enough. And the only time actually that I have been consistent with like workout videos was when I filmed a block of workout videos with you, actually, and I've still got some of them that I haven't even used. So that is just something that I think I need to get more consistent at, for whatever reason that I don't do it.
Is that the thing that you're worst at?
Yeah, well, yeah, is it? Well, no, tech is the thing I'm worst at, 100%. Like automating emails and tech kind of stuff, I am shocking. Yeah, terrible.
That's
And I probably could get,
problem.
yeah, I could get better at that, but do I want to? I don't know. I don't really enjoy that.
Well, no, but the thing is, though, if you don't enjoy it, you give it to someone that does enjoy it, because they're going to do it really well for you.
Yeah, and that's it, isn't it? Because that's the kind of point where I'm at now.
So are we saying here, Sharon, the issue is that you just haven't put the time aside to get people to sort the problems that you've got?
Correct. And actually, like, initially, improving that myself was necessary. Because, like you said, I didn't have the money to put into it. So I remember getting a quote from a website, and they were like, yeah, it's going to cost you £1,500 to build this website. And I was like, hun, like, I don't have to spare £50 at the end of the month, never mind 1,500. So I figured it out, and it took me 5 months, I think. Awful. I'm shocking. But, you know, I did it and I got it done. And now I'm at a place where you're right. Yeah, I could. And I have actually been looking into, but I haven't done anything yet in terms of like getting a new website, improving systems, that kind of stuff.
Mind you, I suppose obviously once you're out of the military, you have a lot more time to
Yeah,
solve all of the problems.
Yeah, but I hate using that as an excuse. I do use it as an excuse sometimes, you know, like, oh yeah, but I just don't have the time. I think you always have the time. It's just whether you make it a priority.
So your problem is prioritizing.
Well, yeah, actually, that's a good point. Maybe it is.
Oh, there we go. We solved the problem. We can go home now.
Right, see you later.
What's the best thing about Sharon?
Oh.
And I don't want anything from your partner, because I know he's in the background.
I honestly, I think it's just my positivity. Like, I'm annoyingly optimistic with others. Like, I'm good at spreading positivity. I'm good at finding the positive in like bad situations. Don't get me wrong, I'm still human, I'm still flawed, and I still go have my own personal struggles that, you know, I'm not saying I wake up in the morning with a spring in my step ready to seize the day, like, not a chance. But I'm talking about like just helping others and listening, and, you know, helping them find the positive in the situation, or helping them feel better about themselves. Yeah, I'm good at doing that.
What does Benmark photography mean to you?
Oh, I feel like that's a really deep question. So, I mean, it's a consistent, really, like, it's been part of Simply Fit, like, since the beginning, like literally since the beginning. Hence why my, like, yeah, you literally call me the OG, because like I've been kicking about for a while. Yeah, and I mean, it's been a game changer in a lot of ways, like having the professional images, which just kind of just makes everything look more professional, doesn't it? It and not just from that side of things, but the initial accountability. And I don't know, it's yeah, it's a consistent, it's been there the entire time. And I think it would feel weird. I've never been to anyone else, and there's a reason for that. I don't need to.
Take that as a thank you very much. What's obviously once you leave, what's the big kind of first thing that you're really aiming for?
Oh, I think readjusting, because like I feel like constrained at the moment is probably the best way to say it. And I feel like my vision as such is sometimes the same, because I feel like I'm not allowed to think too big, because I'm still, time constrained and work constrained and stuff like that. So I think that as soon as I have that freedom, I will be able to actually readjust my vision. Where do I actually want to go? Where do I actually want to be with this? And there's, other avenues that I'm going into with coaching some of the limbless veterans and working with charities and things like that. So aside from just my normal coaching, I'm going to expand into other areas as well. So yeah, it's exciting times. Scary, but exciting.
It's funny, isn't it? Like when I left full-time employment, I never sat there and thought, at some point, I'm just going to be helping people leave jobs and change careers.
Yeah.
I just took off liking photography, and then I soon quickly realised that photography was a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And actually the people and the journey and the story and the learning and the I guess like the options that there are to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have done everything you've done in a fraction of the time. You could have also done it far worse in that fraction of a time.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's all sorts of like, you could do it this way. There's pretty much a million ways that you can do all of these things. However, I think the big thing that taken away from it is that through this journey, I've met so many people that suddenly just needed someone to just go, I think you can do more. I think you're capable of more. And then you suddenly go, if I stop thinking of all the negatives, actually, yeah, I could just do this and I just could do that. And now I've got a bit of clarity. I'll go again.
Mm-hmm.
So
100%. And like I mentioned earlier, like so many people just coast, like unhappy, and then they don't want to change. They need that kind of, or they think, oh, it's too late. Like I'm 30, like that's old. I'm 30 odd. I could never change now. I could never do this. I could never do that. And I can't remember the exact quote, so I won't even try and paraphrase, but the 5 quotes of the dying, like that, not to be too morbid, but the regrets that they have, no one ever regrets not trying. No one ever regrets to do more. And it's a new concept that I've been trying, which is if I'm scared about something, or I'm like not doing, or I think, oh, should I do that? Should I not do that? I think I'm sat down with 100-year-old me, having a cup of tea. What would 100-year-old me tell me to do? I'll just go for it. Like, what have you got to lose? What's the worst that's going to happen? So yeah, have a cup of tea with 100-year-old you.
What an awesome way to finish this. So, Sharon, well done. I know you're obviously someone who's had to overcome a lot and also work, not just work in Sainsbury's stacking shelves. Might be terrible at it because you're about 4 foot nothing, but
awful.
The whole point of it is that the main thing from your side of things is that obviously you have pushed yourself, and you have overcome working a very, very difficult job to be able to actually still provide and change your whole world, and it's been a big thing for you, and I know that has. You've done amazing, so well done.
Thanks. You're too kind.
Well, I've got to be kind at some point. I'll give you enough stick the rest of the time.
Oh no, yeah, I'm taking the most of the time with people, and I'm like, being
like, where did this version of him go? He's nice in front of everyone else. No, honestly, well done. It's been amazing working with you. I know obviously we've got to shoot again soon. But yes, for anyone out there who would like to just check out your page, just let them know how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, come on over. So it's at Simply Fit Limited Ltd, for those that not the full limited. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Or the website is simplyfitlimited.com.
Amazing. Right, well, look, have a good evening, and I look forward to shooting with you again soon.
Thank you so much. Catch you later.